Hi folks! For this week's video, I'm going to try a slightly different Q&A format. I'm still going to be working through the questions submitted in the last one, but instead of having the camera on me as I read, I will be posting the text so that you can read along as I read them out loud, hopefully giving you a better understanding of what I'm answering. Please let me know in the comments which format you prefer so that I can know going forward. Alrighty then, without further rambling from yours truly, here we go! First up. Might be a loaded question, but what advice would you give to any aspiring fantasy writers? Been working on a high fantasy project that's similarly fauna heavy, and of course Chimere is one of my biggest inspirations for it. Thank you so much! My best advice for you specifically would be to figure out the setting of your work and be sure that that's the most developed. Tolkien famously built his world around languages because that was his passion. The rest developed as the story needed. The same is true for Chimere. I am very passionate about speculative biology, so I built a setting for me to play with that, and the stories have grown from the setting. What I would warn you against, and indeed any world building for authors, is to remember that you have a story to tell and to not get too lost in world building. You have no doubt noticed that the region of my writing is far more developed than the rest of Chimere. I plan on filling in the whole planet, and knowing what is in the rest of Chimere has informed the known world in the form of invasive species that make Chimere feel more like a whole world and not a region in a vacuum. But I can't develop every ecology in the entire planet if I ever want to publish anything. You can have the most amazing set piece, but if you don't have a script or any actors, you don't have a play, you have made a diorama, a beautiful diorama, but still not a play. World building for the sake thereof is great, and something I enjoy very much, but my goal is to be an author and tell stories. If that is yours too, be sure to focus on developing the ecologies of the region in which your stories take place. What technological age would you say the humans of your world are set in? Bronze Age, Iron Age, Medieval? The most technologically advanced civilizations are the Chakati Empire, the Khajaroth Republic, and the Free States. Each are pretty comparable to Europeans during the Renaissance and Ming Dynasty China. There aren't firearms or widespread use of gunpowder, but overall the technology is about the same, and their medical and scientific knowledge are perhaps a couple centuries ahead in general terms. Because of the trade network of the Free States, most Chimeran peoples have access to such technology, but many communities are quite happy with their lives as they are. After all, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. How is it possible for so many species to occupy similar niches to coexist in Chimere? Do they engage in extreme niche partitioning? Part of it is definitely niche partitioning. The setting being a confluence of fauna from 3 previously isolated landmasses along with the regular invasion from Earth means that animals that are specialized to specific niches have a competitive advantage. On the other hand, you have animals like leopards and hyenas that are extremely successful because they are more generalist, able to thrive in all 3 continents in prairies, forests, and mountains, whereas the tigers, lions, sprinting hyenas, and red panthers are each relegated to very specific niches. There is always some overlap in niche partitioning because nature doesn't always abide by the rules we like to attribute to it, but in general terms, niche partitioning is a viable path to success in Chimere. When the context they are specialized in disappears, however, they are all the more vulnerable to localized extinction, which is why tigers are no longer found in Picardia, and lions are only found in Picardia, the Southern Islands, and Qajar. Alright, these all ran a little long, so I will try to keep these last 2 brief. What kinds of intelligent life exist on Chimere prior to the arrival of humans, and how many human species exist on Chimere? First one. Notsukiru, Indrikai, dolphins, several species of parrots, and corvids are all examples of human or near-human intelligent animals that thrived in Chimere prior to the arrival of hominids. There were also highly intelligent tool-using troodontids that went extinct fairly recently in the known world, with many scholars believing that the first children were responsible for their demise. For the second question, there are Chimerans, which are a subspecies of Homo sapiens that came to Chimere some 400,000 years ago. Possibly their own species depending largely on analysis of Neanderthals and Denisovans, along with at least 2 descendants of Homo erectus. The first children were a dominant human species for almost 1,000 years, but have since gone extinct for reasons currently unknown. I'll be unpacking all this and more in my video on the peoples of Khmer, which will go over the Khmeran civilizations, along with other hominid groups. Alright, I'm going to cut myself off there today since I've got to get back to writing. Hope you all enjoyed. Again, let me know in the comments if you prefer this format or the one I used last time so that I can better prepare myself for the next Q&A. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Until next time, cheers folks!